Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Check this out. When we left off, Capricorn Clark was just finishing her testimony, and after she finished, she dropped the mic and walked off the stand like what?
So which one is it?
Thank you for
Capricorn.
coming.
So which one is it? Which one is it?
Thank you
Was Lauren London on the phone?
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Now, while Capricorn Clark was inside the court dropping bombs on Diddy, the YouTuber Donut was outside getting into it with Gene Deal. And Gene Deal was like, yo, I don't play that. I don't know who you think I am, but I'm not that dude. You get up in my face one more time and I'm gonna come over there and jack you up. But Donut wasn't backing down, and he was like, yo, try it, ninja, try it. Meanwhile, there was one of New York's finest in the background, instigating and getting all up in the mix.
I'm not the type of dude that you can come up on like.
Bro, listen. We out here to
What kind of content?
You're not gonna tell me what to do.
You can't come up on me.
Bro, listen.
If you come up on me, I'ma knock you the out.
That's what I say. That's what I say. That's what I say. No, bro. I said I'm a bitch. You gonna misgender me now? Now it's anti-Asian because I'm Asian. So now you harassing me. I am protected by anti-Asian hate.
Go down the road with
that.
Alright, so as you can see, the drama's going on inside and outside of the courtroom. Now, part of the reason why Gene and Donut were beefing is because the night before, Donut interviewed Randy Dwayne Pittman, who just filed a lawsuit in Fulton County, Georgia, accusing Sean P. Diddy Combs and Farnsworth Bentley of hiring him and two minors after a Sean John fashion show in 2003. And during that interview, Pittman made some very explosive allegations about Gene Deal. So when Donut saw Gene Deal at the courthouse the next day, he tried to ask him about allegedly being a co-conspirator in some of Diddy's escapades. But Gene was over there ignoring him and treating him like he was the invisible man. Shortly thereafter, Donut went live and said that Gene tried to snuff him in the courthouse and also explained why he was beefing with Gene in the first place.
Is on my platform interviewing me, asking me about what's going on. Look, that is Bentley and that's him. This man I just interviewed, this man just told me Gene Deal helped Puffy lace him into at the Intercontinental Hotel in Atlanta, Georgia. So real niggas got questions, Gene.
That's right.
Like, what are you talking about?
Source, can we please see the original interaction between Donut and Gene Deal?
Hey, Gene, I talked to Randy Pittman last night, a white guy that said in 2004, you was at a party with P. Diddy and you held him down with two. I did an interview with him on my YouTube last night. What do you have to say about that, Gene? What about Ryan Pittman? What about what you did to Ryan Pittman? What about Ryan Pittman, Gene Deal? I interviewed him last night. He said you was at a Puffy party.
She was good.
You gave him and he held two down as well as him, Gene. I interviewed him on my YouTube last night, Gene. He filed the lawsuit, right?
Yeah, Gene Deal wasn't getting ready to answer that, and he was very happy that Tisa Tell stepped in. My girl was like, Gene. Anyhow, I find all of these YouTubers who have converged on New York for the Diddy trial to be totally hilarious. But if I could give them one piece of advice, it would be this: report the news, don't become the news. Because every good journalist knows that there should be an invisible wall between you and the subject that you're reporting on. And that's no shade, that's just good advice. Listen, do me a favor. If you support the channel and you like what we're doing back here, hit that like and subscribe button because, as you know, the algorithm doesn't pay attention to me, it pays attention to you. Now, let me get you back into the courthouse, but first, let me give you a quick recap of what happened on Wednesday. Okay, so first, the court started with the prosecution calling Officer Chris Ignacio to the stand and questioning him about the break-in that happened at Kid Cudi's house. Officer Ignacio said that in 2011, he was a probationary level 1 police officer for the LAPD. Chris said that on December 22, 2011, he responded to a trespassing call at 8925 Holly Hills Road, aka Kid Cudi's house. And when he arrived at Kid Cudi's residence, he saw a black SUV with heavily tinted windows directly in front of the house. And when he began to drive up, the SUV drove away. Although he had no probable cause to stop, to question, or to search the car, he observed the license plate number, which was 6LKN013, and ran the plate number through the system. At that time, he found out that the plates on the car were registered to Bad Boy Productions Incorporation. After seeing the vehicle, he entered into Kid Cudi's house, which was unlocked, with another officer, and searched the premises for any victims or possible suspects. Upon entering the residence, they observed a whole bunch of gifts that were opened up and saw a whole bunch of expensive bags and watches. Now, after clearing the residence, he says that he walked back outside and saw the same black Cadillac Escalade coming down the hill. Shortly thereafter, Scott Muscuddy, aka Kid Cudi, arrived at the residence and filed a police report about the trespass. Next, the prosecution called fire investigator Lance Jimenez to the stand to discuss his findings on the day that Kid Cudi's car exploded. Mr. Jimenez says that he was alerted to a fire at 8925 Holly Hill Road through the fire department dispatch at approximately 11 a.m., and he got there about 30 minutes later. He says that when he arrived, he saw a car in the driveway and it was a fire truck already on site. Mr. Jimenez said that he observed a black Porsche 911 with a canvas top, and it was a cut on the top of the vehicle on the roof about a foot long. According to Mr. Jimenez, the fire occurred inside the passenger space compartment, and there were burn patterns throughout the seats, the center console, the carpet, and the roofing. He also says that he observed an Old English 800 malt liquor 40 bottle on the front seat, and there was also a designer-type silky cloth handkerchief on the center console that was burned. Oh my goodness, you know something? The defense team almost had a chance. I mean, they almost cast a little bit of doubt when they put out the theory that the Molotov cocktail could have been thrown into Kid Cudi's car by a jealous ex-girlfriend who flew into a rage and burned up his car. But now that they're telling me that this was a designer Molotov cocktail, you can't tell me it wasn't Diddy. Fire Inspector Jimenez also said that there was a partial print from a female contributor found on the OE bottle, and he created a fingerprint card to put in the evidence, but the fingerprint card was destroyed by somebody in the LAPD in August of 2012. Now, when the prosecution got ready to ask Mr. Jimenez if it was normal for evidence to be destroyed less than 1 year after it was put into storage, Diddy's defense team was like, objection! So, we never got the answer. But even though Mr. Jimenez wasn't allowed to answer that question, anybody who watches Forensic Files and the ID channel knows the answer. Anyhow, after investigator Jimenez let us all know that they lost the one piece of crucial evidence that could link or exonerate Diddy from the fire, Diddy's attorneys immediately asked for a mistrial, but the judge was like, absolutely not. Now, after that, the prosecution called up Cassie's stylist Deontay Nash to the stand, and after discussing how good he looked and some glamour shots he took, he recounted numerous occasions where Diddy terrorized both himself and Cassie over a period of years. Deontay said that he began working for Diddy's Bad Boy label in 2008 as an intern and quickly transitioned into a celebrity stylist who was primarily assigned to work with Cassie, who he became friends with over the next few years. Over the next decade of employment, Deontay said that he became closely entangled in both the professional and personal dynamics within Diddy and Cassie's relationship. Because he was close to Cassie on both the personal and professional level, he saw a lot and testified extensively about Diddy's abuse and manipulation of Cassie, describing it as violent, coercive, and emotionally devastating. Deontay said that Diddy constantly held Cassie's music career over her head by saying that he wouldn't release her music, told her that he would send her X tapes to her family's jobs to get them fired, and also blackmailed, manipulated, and controlled her by fear by threatening to release the X tapes of her with other men if she didn't do exactly what he wanted. During one of the most harrowing moments of Deontay's testimony, he recounted a violent altercation that took place at Cassie's LA apartment around 2013 or 2014. During this incident, Deontay said that him and one of Diddy's assistants, referred to as Mia, were helping Cassie pack for a trip. Then, out of nowhere, Diddy arrived at the apartment and he was mad angry because Cassie hadn't answered any of his phone calls, but Cassie was asleep. Deontay said that upon entering the apartment, Diddy just started shouting, then he physically assaulted her. Deontay said that him and Mia attempted to intervene by jumping on Diddy's back to stop him, but he just threw him off and threw him to the ground and continued attacking Cassie, eventually causing her to hit her head on a bed frame and to start bleeding. Now, even though Diddy saw that Cassie was bleeding, he didn't stop pounding her out. But when he did eventually stop, he turned around and looked at all of them and was like, "Look what y'all made me do." Deontay said that he tried to call 911, but somebody told him to stop, so he did. After the altercation, Diddy had one of his security guards take Cassie to a plastic surgeon, and the next day at a video shoot, Deontay said that he saw Cassie and she had stitches on her forehead. Deontay also described Cassie's emotional and psychological decline after such events, and he said that Cassie would cry frequently, isolate herself, and often remain inside for days. This pattern of trauma and emotional withdrawal painted a picture of the sustained abuse and psychological damage that Cassie was going through as a result of being with Diddy. Deontay also explained how Diddy would use his staff and his empire to control Cassie, supporting the racketeering conspiracy charges against him. Deontay said that Diddy used to use his business empire and personnel, including security and assistants, as tools of control, enforcing loyalty and obedience through threats and rewards and manipulation extended to controlling Cassie's music career, finances, career trajectory, and personal life. But above all, on day one of his testimony, Deontay confirmed a lot of things that a lot of people who got up on that stand testified to, including the fact that Diddy used Cassie's X tapes as leverage and as blackmail, that Diddy had a pattern of retaliatory behavior anytime Cassie acted in ways that he disapproved of, the existence of freak-off videos, and their role in Diddy's coercive tactics, and last but not least, Diddy's propensity to use physical abuse and his security guards to control Cassie's behavior and her movements. Okay, so Deontay was only supposed to be up on the stand for a few hours, but after Diddy's attorneys started to do their cross-examination, they were like, "Your Honor, we're never ever gonna finish this in time, so can we bring him back for another day?" And the judge said yes, so Deontay is back today. Alright, so Deontay gets on the stand, and Diddy's attorney's like, "How are you?" And Deontay's like, "Blessed." So then, Diddy's attorney, who's Donaldson today, breaks out an exhibit DX1806, which are text from Deontay, and he shows them to Deontay, and he says, "What was Capricorn Clark's role in 2011? The mixtape?" And Deontay responded by saying, "No, Capricorn Clark was gone." So then, Diddy's attorneys follow up by asking, "What did she do when she was there?" And Deontay responds, "Maybe the photo shoot you guys showed yesterday. I learned a lot from Capricorn, actually." Do you recall a picture of Cassie in green hair? That was a group idea. I walked the carpet with Cassie in New York at the VMAs. It was a curated look. So you say that Mr. Combs was kicking Cassie on the ground, the unfortunate eye gash incident. Yes. You didn't tell the prosecutors that she was kicked while bleeding. They didn't ask. I only answered what they asked. You know Cassie was in a relationship with Kid Cudi while she was in a relationship with Mr. Combs. Oh, okay. You didn't know? I thought she and Puff broke up. So then, Diddy's attorney said, "When Cassie was in South Africa, you were at the Revolt conference in Miami, correct?" And Deontay said, "Yes, I was there styling Little Kim." So yes, I put her together with Michael B. Jordan. I mean, he's fine, she's fine, why not? And then the judge was like, "Hold on." Oh my goodness, Deontay's off the hook. So then, Diddy's attorney was like, "Gina was in Miami too?" And Deontay responded by saying, No, you're not gonna put that on me. They kept me away from seeing Gina." So then, Diddy's attorney was like, "Was Cassie upset?" And Deontay said that Cassie was over there like, "Why does he keep humiliating me in my career?" Was she upset? Not really. You set her up with Michael B. Jordan? Yes, and Mia drove it home by making sure that she had his number. So a bad boy employee set her up with Michael B. Jordan, and Deontay Nash responded by saying, "Yes, that's Michael B. Jordan. Don't mess that up." Listen, at first, I was sitting over here like, why are Diddy's attorneys wasting their time going down this line of questioning, because it's not making Cassie look bad. As a matter of fact, it's only making Cassie look like she has a bunch of good friends who are trying to get her away from Diddy. But then I thought about it. Last night after Deontay testified, Diddy and his attorneys must have met up, And they were like, oh snap, we're in trouble. So what they have decided to do is try to make it seem as if Cassie, Deontay, and Mia are so tight that they're all in cahoots right now. So even though it seems as if they're focused on the cheating, I don't think that's what they're really focused on. I think that what they're trying to prove is that Cassie, Mia, and Deontay, and possibly Capricorn Clark are all thick as thieves. So that way, at the end of the trial, when it comes time to sum things up, they're gonna argue that all of these people are not corroborating what each other said, but instead, all of these people are friends who have gotten together to coordinate an attack against Diddy. See, at first, I thought that all of Diddy's attorneys were a bunch of bumbling idiots, but now I see the play is clear as day, and I'm gonna break it down for you in one of my next videos. So then, Diddy's attorney says, do you know Andre Branch? And Deontay says no. He says, were you aware that Cassie was in a relationship with Andre Branch? Oh, the cute football player? I never met him. In 2016, Brandon of the NBA, sorry. In these texts, you talk to Cassie about Michael B. Jordan, and you say, nobody better say ish to me, LY. What is LY? Love you, or maybe it's a typo, LY, know everything? I don't remember. I'm sure we were being antagonized by your client. Now, just after Deontay said that, somebody jumped in the comment section and said, I can see exactly why Cassie has him as a friend. Listen, the way that Deontay Nash is up in that stand, we all need a Deontay Nash as a friend. Anyhow, let's continue. Next, Diddy's attorney takes out a whole bunch of exhibits in their text messages, and he says to Deontay, let's read these, you do the blue. And Deontay says, oh, you got some names in here? And Diddy's attorney's like, just go ahead. So essentially, Deontay's gonna be Deontay and Diddy's attorney is gonna be Cassie. So the text message starts and Deontay's like, where you going? And then Cassie's like, secret trip out of town. And Deontay's like, girl. So then Diddy's attorney was like, where was she going and what did you mean by girl? And Deontay was like, listen, good friends don't pry. I just responded, girl. So then Diddy's attorney said, highlight the green part. Cassie's telling you October 30th, 2013, after the incident with the cut on her face, she says, I've already been turning up too much. And Diddy's attorney asked Deontay what it means to turn up too much. So Deontay said, I don't know, most likely she meant going out too much. So then, Diddy's attorney jumps from that question and basically says to Deontay, you say you saw her with a black eye on FaceTime around the time of the Intercontinental Hotel? I saw it in person. When her makeup would wear off, I could see it. So then the judge interjects and he reminds Deontay to let the attorney ask him questions before he offers his answer. So then Diddy's attorney shows Deontay another text message and he says, you read these. After Cassie says, this in is wasted, we both did the same. Deontay goes, is there a lot of people there? And then he goes, oh, this is talking about a Gwen Stefani song. So then Diddy's attorney jumps back to yesterday when Deontay testified that Diddy kicked them both out the house and told them to take they broke A's home. So Diddy's attorney says to Deontay, so he said take your broke ASS home and ride into the sunset. And Deontay responded by saying, and we did. Oh my goodness, this dude is too much. So then, Diddy's attorney continues on and he asks Deontay, did Cassie tell you that she was over there having threesomes with other men? And Deontay goes, oh no, she didn't. So then, Diddy's attorney hands Deontay an exhibit and he tells him to read it himself. He goes, read that yourself, then lift up. On May 10th, 2025, you told the government the videos came from her phone. And Deontay said, no, I told the government that he would tape her on her phone. Let me tell you something, Diddy's defense team is trying to catch Deontay out there so bad, but Deontay is not giving an inch. Alright, let's go. So Diddy's attorneys tried to double down on the question and they said, isn't it true? She said videos were from her phone. And Deontay goes, no, he would record her on her phone. I stand firm on that. You say that Mr. Combs said, you won't do this one thing for me. Yes. You said you saw Mr. Combs pointing in Cassie's face in a blind dragon, right? But you never told the government, right? The first you said it was at trial. And Deontay responded by saying, I guess so. I gave them very little by phone. She said she didn't want to go. And then Diddy's attorney says, you helped her pick her clothes for trial. And Deontay was like, she couldn't fit anything. She needed some clothes. So Diddy's attorney was like, for the pregnancy? And Deontay was like, right. Listen, let me tell you something. This whole thing is turning into like a Saturday Night Live skit because I can't believe that they kept this dude from going home to LA yesterday because they needed to ask him these questions. But once again, like I said before, I believe that they're trying to establish that he's been in communication with Cassie so that they could drive home the fact that once again, all of these people are in cahoots. Now, is it gonna work? I don't know, but I do believe that that's what they're trying to do. So then, Diddy's attorney says, on Friday, after she finished, she called you and said, I'm done. And Deontay was like, it wasn't like that. Yo, how do they know that she called him on Friday? I mean, do they have Cassie's phone tapped? I mean, for real, how in the world do you know who I called when I left court? Yo, let me know down below. How in the world would Diddy's defense attorneys know who Cassie called after she left court on Friday? So then Diddy's attorneys continued and they said, did you get Cassie super high? And he said, what? No, I didn't get a high. This 29th birthday, you said that she packed X toys in her duffel bag from her bedroom, right? Correct. Mr. Combs didn't say grab the X toys? And Deontay says they were going. Okay, so essentially, Diddy's attorneys are trying to make it seem like Diddy wasn't over there telling her what to do. But Deontay is saying that every time they went somewhere, Diddy didn't have to give her explicit demands because Cassie already knew what Diddy's demands were. Alright, so next, the attorney says, let's talk about Las Vegas. Let's talk about New Year's. Let's talk about 2016, 2017. You said that you were told that Cassie was sleeping all day, and Deontay said correct. Right after that, Diddy's attorney said put up exhibit DX1847 for the parties only. What's this? And then Deontay said Cassie. Next, Diddy's attorney said, the low-budget producer you mentioned was there? And Deontay said yes, right next to me snoring. You say Cassie told you that another man was coming over and asked you to leave? Yes, both of us. Your reaction was what, size? Yes. Yo, for real? I really feel like Diddy's attorneys are stalling today so that we never get to Mia. Because I'm sitting over here reading through this testimony and I'm like, are we serious right now? What are we doing? Listen, let me know down below. Do you believe that Diddy's attorneys are really accomplishing anything of substance with this cross-examination of Deontay right now? Alright, so anyhow, Diddy's attorney continues on and he says, you saw a man walking around knocking on the door and they let him in. Yes. There were no rugs, right? We were doing them in our separate places. Once I start working, I just start going. I was packing my 10 body bags. Oh my goodness, this dude is just too much. So then, Diddy's attorney shows Deontay a text message and he says, that's you telling Cassie in 2017 to have fun with Puff, right? Yes. Cassie wrote, I spoke up for myself and you wrote, I wish I was with you on vacation. And Deontay was like, no. I meant, I wish I was on vacation in Mexico, not with them. Next, Diddy's attorney said, then they went to a hotel and again, she didn't tell you she didn't want to go, correct? And Deontay said, actually, she said she wanted to stay home, work on her music. At that point, Diddy's attorney pulled out another text message and he started to read it. And he says, Cassie wrote, the next room is on the beach. This one's on a golf course. I have everything organized. To which Deontay responded, LOL, do you have a lot of ish? And then Cassie said, yes, but I made it all fit. And Deontay was like, girl, you always on vacation. Alright, so after going over that text message, Diddy's attorney said, you stayed in touch with Mr. Combs? And Deontay was like, yeah, because he was cutting up. Do you know Kim Porter who tragically passed? Yes. You also knew Andre Harrell who passed, and you contacted Diddy to find out if he was okay. Yes. In 2020, you wrote, I love you, anything you need, I got you. Yes. Here's the thing, to me, it's not a gotcha moment to point out the fact that Deontay sent Diddy a condolence text after Andre Harrell passed away. I mean, if anything, it suggests that Deontay just might be a nice person. Next, Diddy's attorney, Mr. Donaldson, said, Mr. Combs won an award that year, and you congratulated him? And Deontay was like, I don't think so. I asked how to RSVP to his party for somebody else, Claire Sumners. So then, Diddy's attorneys pull out another text message and they're like, Mr. Combs wrote to you, the trainer, you could have given me a heads up, black heart emoji, how is she? Did he mean Cassie? Yes. Did Cassie tell you about a secret trip? And the prosecutors were like, objection, and the judge was like, sustained. So then, Diddy's attorney tried to get slick with it, and he looked at Deontay and he said, she kept secrets from you. And Deontay responded by saying, and I do from her. We don't have to tell each other everything. I know that's right. Now, after Deontay basically set Diddy's attorney straight by letting him know that him and Cassie are friends who are also adults that don't have to tell each other every little secret, Diddy's attorney was like, no further questions. Listen, let me know how you felt about the defense's cross-examination of Deontay Nash. Was it effective or no? And if you thought that it was effective, let me know what was effective and why, because inquiring minds want to know. Anyhow, hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Peace.